The revival of Islam, a promise in motion. Throughout history, Islam has witnessed periods of great triumph and painful decline. From the golden age of the Umayyads and Abbasids to the rich legacy of Al-Andalus and the might of the Ottoman Empire, the light of Islam once illuminated vast parts of the world. It brought justice where there was tyranny, knowledge where there was ignorance, and unity where there was division. But like the rise of every great civilization, decline followed. Today, however, signs are emerging across the globe, spiritually, socially, and intellectually, that Islam is preparing to rise once again. Allah, in the Qur'an, says, "They want to extinguish Allah's light with their mouths, but Allah will perfect His light, even though the disbelievers dislike it." Surah Asaf 61:8. This verse is not merely a statement of defiance. It is a divine promise. No matter how dark the times may seem, no matter how much opposition Muslims face, the light of Islam will never be extinguished. The Ummah has experienced trials, colonialism, internal disunity, cultural erasure, and the weakening of leadership. But in every era, a revival has always followed the hardship. And in our time, the revival is beginning to take root again. We see young Muslims across the world returning to their faith with pride, learning Arabic, memorizing Qur'an, and seeking Islamic knowledge. Mosques that were once empty now echo with the voices of youth. Sisters who once feared wearing the hijab now wear it with courage. Brothers are returning to the Sunnah, leaving behind the distractions of a materialistic world. This is not a coincidence. This is a response, a stirring in the soul of the Ummah. Technology, once feared as a tool of westernization, is now being used to spread Islamic teachings to every corner of the globe. Dawah efforts on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and podcasts are reaching millions. Scholars, imams, and Islamic thinkers are leveraging these tools to revive faith, challenge false ideologies, and connect Muslims across borders. And most importantly, hearts are waking up. People feel an emptiness in modern society, an emptiness that no wealth, fame, or entertainment can fill. Islam offers the answer. Islam provides meaning, structure, and purpose. As the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "There will never cease to be a group from my Ummah upholding the truth, victorious until the day of judgment." Sahih Muslim. We are seeing that group emerge once more. The rise of Islam is not just about geopolitics or economics. It's about a revival of hearts, a return to Qur'an and Sunnah, a renewal of the covenant between the believer and his Lord. The world may try to suppress it, but the soul of Islam is eternal, and its revival is inevitable. The time is near. The spark has been lit, and the Ummah is rising. The signs of awakening, echoes of a new dawn. As we continue to witness the shifting tides of our global society, it becomes more evident that we are living in a time of profound change. Beneath the noise of political tensions, economic crises, and moral decay, something deeper is taking root, a spiritual awakening among Muslims around the world. This awakening can be felt in the way Muslims are reclaiming their identity. Decades of cultural confusion and the effects of colonial narratives tried to separate Muslims from their roots. Yet now, there is a deliberate and proud return to the Islamic worldview. Muslims are asking meaningful questions. Who are we? What does Allah expect from us? How do we live as true servants of the most merciful in a modern world? We see Muslim youth abandoning harmful habits and rediscovering the beauty of Islamic teachings. Once lost in aimless entertainment, They are now attending study circles, engaging in Qur'an memorization, fasting outside of Ramadan, and waking up for Far. This transformation is not a trend. It is a movement. The hijab is no longer seen as a symbol of oppression by those who understand it. Rather, it is embraced as a crown of dignity and submission to Allah. The beard is not just fashion. It's a sign of love for the Sunnah. Salah is no longer just a ritual. It's a daily meeting with the Creator. All of this is happening not despite global opposition, but in the face of it. Meanwhile, conversion rates to Islam continue to rise, especially in Western nations. People from all backgrounds are entering Islam after seeing the failures of secularism, the emptiness of materialism, and the contradictions of modern ideologies. They come to Islam seeking peace, and they find it not just in concept, but in practice, in the simplicity of Tawheed, the clarity of the Quran, and the unmatched character of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Internationally, Islamic movements that focus on education, social justice, and moral reform are gaining momentum. Community-based initiatives are spreading, from feeding the poor, protecting the environment, all rooted in Islamic principles. Muslims are no longer waiting for governments to act. They are acting themselves based on a prophetic model. This is exactly what revival looks like, not grand political revolutions, but small, consistent acts of transformation that collectively change the course of history. Yes, the path is long and obstacles remain. Islamophobia still exists. Oppression still harms many. But the response to that oppression is no longer despair. It is action, resilience, and deeper faith. As the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Islam began as something strange, and it will return to being strange. So glad tidings to the strangers. Sahih Muslim, we are the generation witnessing that return. The strangest part? It's not strange anymore. It's becoming the norm. The revival of Islam is not coming. It has already begun, and it is only gaining strength. The road ahead, building the future with Iman. As Islam rises again, the responsibility upon each Muslim becomes clear, to be part of this revival, not a passive observer. Every believer has a role to play, no matter their age, background, or skill. The revival is not waiting for heroes. It is being built by ordinary people with extraordinary sincerity. The future of Islam will not be built by slogans or wishful thinking. It will be built by knowledge, action, and unity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that the strongest weapon of a believer is dua, and the greatest strength is unity. When Muslims unite with sincere hearts and correct understanding, no force on earth can stop them. Our Ummah is vast, 1.9 billion strong, but it needs to be aligned, connected, and purposeful. That begins with the family unit. When parents raise children upon the Qur'an and Sunnah, when homes are filled with remembrance of Allah, and when spouses support each other in righteousness, the seeds of change are planted. Mosques must become more than places of prayer. They must become centers of community, education, and service. Imams must be more than leaders of Salah. They must be mentors, educators, and guides. Youth must be empowered, not dismissed. Women must be supported, not sidelined. Knowledge must be revived, not memorized blindly. The Muslim world must also invest in thought leadership. We need scholars who can address the questions of the modern world, politicians with taqwa, entrepreneurs who value halal wealth, and artists who express Islamic values through creativity. Revival also means confronting injustice. From Palestine to Kashmir, from China to parts of Africa, Muslims are suffering. The rising Ummah cannot forget them. Speaking out, giving charity, raising awareness, and making sincere dua, these are all tools of resistance and hope. The Qur'an tells us, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of people until they change what is in themselves. Surah Ara 13:11. Change begins in the heart. The time is near, not because we wait for a miracle, but because we are becoming the miracle. History will remember this era, not as the fall of Islam, but as the return. And when future generations look back, they will see that it wasn't massive armies or global institutions that brought the change. It was individuals like you who chose to walk with Iman, to speak the truth, to live for Allah. The Ummah is rising. The time is now. The path is clear. Stand firm, stand united, and stand ready, because Islam will rise again, and its light will touch every corner of the earth.